My PvE Corvette, the Cucumber, is finally done. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Down to Earth Astronomy. I am very delighted to finally be able to present to you the finished build on my Federal Corvette, the Cucumber, as it has been named. And today we're gonna go over the builds, we're gonna go over the modifications I've done, and the whole idea behind this PvE build. This is meant for killing NPCs. And at the end of the video we're probably gonna take this out for a spin and see how it actually performs when we are out in the Hasrats zone. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and let's have a look at the hardpoints first. Now I want to start with all the lasers here in the middle with my medium and large size. These are all turreted beam lasers. The reason why I've gone with turreted is because this is a big ship, and even though the Corvette is fairly maneuverable, and I've done a lot to try and keep that maneuverability, it's still going to struggle with smaller, light, fast ships. So that is why I have this large beam laser at the bottom, and we have two on the sides. That means if they're above you, they're gonna have a little bit of a hard time, but if you keep them below you, where you can keep that large beam laser firing, then you should be able to take down shields and smaller ships fairly quickly. Now, these have been modified with efficient, as you can see. Oh, no, don't sell them. Ha! Modification here, and you can see they have thermal vent. That means when they are hitting a target, they are going to dissipate heat away from your ship, and of course when they're not hitting a target, they're going to generate additional heat. But since these are turrets, they will automatically turn off when they cannot see the target, and as soon as they can see the target, they will start firing, and they have pretty good tracking. So that pretty much means you're gonna get a not 100%, but pretty close to 100% hit rate with these weapons. So they're very effective to get heat away from the ship, and actually the ship build here is very, very heat efficient. I have no problems overheating. Sure, of course, when you fire shield cell banks, you can overheat, but with this, just helps keep that heat in control. So very nice. I like this a lot. Now, before we go to the let's do the huge hardpoints. On the huge hardpoints, I've gone with something a little untraditional. I've gone with two huge cannons. The cannons are, of course, if we go in here to modifications, they are they're modified with a sturdy mount, which again is a bit odd. But what I'm looking at here is, look at the armor penetration and the armor piercing. Now, cannons already have a pretty decent armor piercing. We're at 90, as you can see here, but I've increased that quite significantly, up to 133 on this one. Okay, I can't switch the other gun right now, but decent, very high armor penetration. And then, because I try to go with kind of a synergy with these weapons, I've gone with high yield for the special modification, which converts some of the damage. Once it penetrates the enemy armor, it then converts some of the damage to explosive and does a ton of damage to several internal modules. This means this ship just kills internal modules. It doesn't do that much damage to the actual armor of the ship, but it just wrecks the inside of the enemy ship very, very quickly. And especially if you target the power plant, you can pretty quickly take down a power plant. Of course, unfortunately, the ship doesn't always explode when you shoot the power plant anymore, but it's gonna make the ships completely inert. It's gonna shut down completely until they manage to make a reboot of the ship, giving you plenty of time to just sit there nice and quietly and shoot people. So very, very happy with those. Of course, the same on the other cannon. And that just leaves the two small hardpoints. Now, these would normally not give you that much in terms of damage, and these do not either. You can see they're both located here at the front of the ship. But for the multi-cannons here, I've gone to modifications. I have, of course, gone with corrosive shells. Now, what corrosive shell does is it has a chance, and I know these doesn't stack, but it has a chance on hit to apply a corrosion effect, which essentially reduces the enemy armor by armor hardness, which is essentially armor, by 25%. So those two multi-cannons will actually reduce the enemy armor by 25%, making it easier for my high yield cannons to just rip through their armor. So I use the multi-cannons here to weaken the enemy armor, and then I punch through them with the cannons, destroying their internal modules. Unfortunately, corrosive shell reduces your ammo capacity, so therefore I have gone with high capacity magazine. We don't really care that much about the damage. I did get a little bit bonus on damage on these weapons, but that's not really why these are here. They are only here to weaken enemy armor. That's why they're here. So that's the weapon loadout. As you can see, I tried to go with a little bit of synergy with both the multi-cannons, weakening armor. It's really all focused around getting through that armor on the ship and destroying the internal modules. Of course, you will need to take down the shields first, but that's what the laser's there for. Okay, let's move on to the utility mounts right here. Let's start. I have two heat sinks, which are both modified with ammo capacity, as you can see here. So that increases its maximum ammo size from 2 to 3. And that's just because it's nice to have that extra heat sinks, especially if we're gonna stay in a zone for longer. It just gives me a little bit more time before I have to go back to a station and restock. Or synthesize. Can you synthesize this? I don't know. Anyway, all the rest are shield boosters, and I have two of them, and I can't remember which one it is. Applications. Yeah, two of them are heavy duty, increasing the explosion resistance, but that's not really why we're taking it. We're taking it because of that huge increase to shield boost. As you can see, they're 224%, which is quite a bit, which is going to give us a lot of shield hit points. Then I have two, and I think this might be one of them. That's also heavy duty. This one. Yes. Two of them have thermal resistance, because your shields will per default have a fairly low thermal resistance, so to try and compensate for that, I've gone for two shield boosters with thermal resistance. It does hurt my kinetic and explosive resistance a little bit, but it's not that bad compared to what I gain in thermal resistance. And of course then the two last ones are with resistance augmented, which gives a little bit of shield boost and a little bit of resistance all around, so they're good all-round upgrades. Like those a lot, but it's just to give the shield a general boost and general lift after I try to like normalize all my my other modules, other values. So that's pretty much my utility mounts, two heat sinks, and then two of each of heavy duty, thermal resistance, and resistance augmented. Core internals, nothing too fancy, nothing too special in here. We can see the lightweight alloys, stuck with those because, I don't know, I'm planning not to lose my shield. I do have a little bit of armor defense, but I stuck with this, and for one main reason is if we go into the modifications. Oh, there we go. You can see here I've gone for heavy duty, but notice on the attributes there are no increase in the mass of the module. That's because that a lightweight alloy has no mass. It's massless. So regardless of how many percent, because it's a percent increase you put on that lightweight alloy, put 1000% on something that has zero mass, it's still going to be zero mass. So by going lightweight and heavy duty, I gain all the benefits from additional hull boost, more kinetic and thermal and explosive resistance, but I do not gain the downside being the heavier module. So that's why I stuck with the low weight alloy and went for heavy duty on them. Power plant, nothing special here, just a 8.8 power plant with a grade 5 overcharged thrusters. Again, 7A dirty drive. Frameshift drive has a long range. Just gonna go through these fairly quickly. They're pretty self-explanatory. No upgrades on the life support. I could have gone for something like shielded or reinforced or something like that, but I decided not to. It shouldn't really affect the ship that much. And again, if I'm down to the point where my life support taking damage is my main concern, then I believe I will have other concerns and other things I need to worry about. power distributor, let's look at that modification. I've gone for the recharge, so it gives me faster recharge on all 3 pip types or system types, giving me less capacitor. That means you need to manage your pips a little bit more, but it also means that I can actually, because the beam lasers take some energy, sure, but they're all efficient, so they're actually not that bad. And then we have multicannons and cannons, which don't really draw that much from the distributor, meaning I don't have to keep all 4 pips in my distributor to keep them topped up, meaning I can then move some of them over and still be firing continuously, so I don't have to manage my power that much, and I like that a lot. So yeah, that's the power distributor. Sensors, I've just gone for a long range, extending my range out to almost 12 kilometers. It's just the scan angle is smaller, sure. It's gone down from, what, 30 degrees to 20 degrees, I think. But just having that 11 or 12 kilometer range just makes it so much more usable for me, because it's just nice to have that very long range. It does increase its mass. I mean, if you look at how heavy this thing is, it does give you quite a bit of mass, which hurts your jump range, of course. So you could omit this to not get that large increase in mass if you want to increase your jump range, but I think it's nice once you're out there in the belt and out there fighting. Fuel tank, no modifications here. Then for the military module, we have 2 hull reinforcement packs. 5D, of course, here, and we go for heavy duty hull reinforcement packs, giving us more resistance and more hull reinforcements. So let's move on to the optional internals. Here we have a 7C bi-weave shield generator with a reinforced shield modification on it, reducing my regen rate a little bit, but increasing my resistance quite substantially. So with all the shield, let's actually get out here so we can see that. With all the shield boosters and that shield generator, my shields, let's see if we can open it over here. System statistics, here we go. Defense current ship. You can see my shield hit points is not that high actually for the size of the ship, 2,300, but my resistances are pretty good. So this is a resistance tank. I am counting on having a high resistance, and the reason why I'm doing this is because that makes my shield cell banks a lot easier. If I went for a low resistance but a huge hit point pool, sure, I could take a lot of damage before my shield went down. But if I fire a shield cell bank, it's only going to recharge a minuscule amount, because they recharge a specific amount instead of a percentage of your total shield. So by keeping my shield health low and my resistance high, I make it a little bit more effective when it comes to shield cell banks. Again, I would like my thermal resistance to be higher. That's probably something I'm going to try to work on. Would love to get that above 50%, try to lose some of that explosive resistance, but for now, this will have to do. So let's go back into outfitting and optional internals. Now, I said the ship was done. It's actually not completely. I still need the modifications. I'm going to go for specialized on the shield cell banks, but I do not have access to that engineer yet. So they are still unengineered, but I have 2 7B, and the reason why I've gone with B because they give you an extra charge. So you can see I have an maximum ammo count of 5 in these, where you only get 4 if you go for the A-rated. Of course, the A-rated gives you a little bit more. But again, I feel like having that extra ammo is a lot better. Again, it prolongs the time you can stay in the belt without having to go back and restock. Then we have a fighter hangar, just nothing special here. Having 2 different fighters, you can change those out as you see fit. I just picked whatever was available. I'm probably going to change those up a little bit. 6A fuel scoop, that's very nice because the jump range of this thing is not good. We are under 14 light years, so you're gonna have, if you're moving this around, you're gonna be jumping a lot. So the 6A fuel scoop really helps out a lot and helps top that fuel tank up fairly quickly. This is unmodified as well. Then we have module reinforcement and module reinforcement pack, just to help protect my modules, my internals, in case the shield go down. We also have the 2 hull reinforcement packs that should help protect the hull. So in general, I think we're pretty well protected. Even if the shields go down, we should have enough time to get that back up. And the rest here is pretty much up to you. I have gone with... Did I actually modify that? Okay, wow. I've gone with cargo racks here, just because it's nice to have cargo racks, I guess, in case we come by something we want to pick up. And for that exact reason, I also have collector limpets, so we can collect limpets or can collect stuff. And I actually modified this with, I don't know, lightweight, it seems. I must just have been with the, it's only grade 4, it must just have been with an engineer that had to do something, so I just modified it, I guess. That's not really, you don't really have to do that. And then advanced discovery scanner, I like to have it. You can easily, I mean, these 4 slots you can do with whatever you want. You can fit a docking computer, do what you want. That's really up to you. And then, I don't want to go through all the library, it's basically Predator green paint jobs, and some ship kits, but again, I don't want to go over too much detail with this. But anyway, the whole build is also available in the link in the description down below. But for now, that's pretty much the build. Let's take this out and let's see how this performs once we get out into a build. Okay, we are now out in a build. Fairly dense build, but we found ourselves a wounded anaconda here. Expert. So let's try to get close to him. We need to be careful here because the rocks are very dense. But we're just gonna see if we can find his power plant before we attack him, just for fun. We can see the damage that this thing should be able to do to a power plant. There we go. Power plant is targeted. And let's just open up on his shields, get some shots out. Cannons, again, not that effective against shields, because they mainly do kinetic and explosive damage. But I'm going to try to keep him below me. As you can see here, get plenty of energy to weapons and shields. And I'm going to keep him below me. That huge beam laser will actually do fairly short work of his shields. You can see here he's beginning to take some decent damage. He's actually boosting it up now. So he's going to give it a little bit of help with the cannons. There we go. Now we need to get down below him so we can get down to his power plant. Begin to weaken his armor. There we go, power plant is almost down. 16% left on the power plant, he's still above 50%. There's a good shot. Get that in, wait for the corrosive effect. And boom, now his power plants are dead. So now he's just a sitting duck. We can go over and we can say hi to him. He now has, he's now trying to reboot his ship, but we're just gonna fire away at him. Boom, and he's gone. So we have pretty light work of him. Let's try and see if we can find something else. Shoot, Type 9s. What about Python? That definitely looks like he is he's up to no good. No, he's actually clean. What is he shooting at then? It's another Python. Who's behind him? Let's see what we can find. A Cobra. That should be a little overkill to try and kill a Cobra in this kind of ship, but what the hell. Let's open up again. Lasers keeping him below the ship. Want that huge laser to be working on him. Now he's returning fire. Keep him below us. His shields are dead. So now we can move over pips over to engines. Get close to him. Cannons away. We haven't targeted anything right now. We're just letting the cannons do the damage. With the small ships, I don't normally target their subsystems. As you can see here, the ship actually struggles a little bit with smaller ships. Boom, that's a good shot. That's a good one as well. Come on, one more. So in cases like this, it's a very good idea. I haven't done any, haven't taken any NPC crews with me. But in cases like this, I would probably try and take an NPC with me to take him down in the fighter. That's really what they're there for. Or take some of your friends along and let them kill him. Because This is really the weakness of this build, is that it doesn't handle small ships very well. Because we spent so much energy to try and penetrate their armor and get through that armor. When you're dealing with small ships, you're really not getting anything for all that effort you put into to increasing your armor penetration. But anyway, he is dead. And I want to see if I can find just one more target, just to show. Let's see what we got here. Python, expert Python, and wanted. Okay, let's take this guy. Let's fight his power plant. Heatsink drive, power plant. There it is. Let's recharge that buffer on the shields before we go in, just in case. And there we go. Keep him below us, so we can let that laser work on his shield. It's a bit counterintuitive, but you will get used to it. Keeping your enemy out of your line of sight. But trust me, it's a lot more effective. So now he turns his attention to us, but it's too little too late, dude. We already got your shield. There we go. Flip it around. There we go. Wait for that effect on the hull. And the cannons are out. So his hull are pretty weak. So, but we almost managed to get his power plant down. You see the amount of damage that that power plant is taking. Boom, there we go. He's gone. So again, I think it's a pretty effective build. I'm pretty happy with it. It's a pretty fun build. It's a little different than what people normally do. We just go plasma accelerators or multicannons. I think the cannons are pretty fun once you learn to use them. Oh, hello. But anyway, I really hope you like this video. I'm very excited to actually see this ship being completed, and I'm gonna have planning lots of live streams in the future where I'm gonna take this ship out. I'm gonna invite you guys, viewers, either to come out, bring your own ships, or just come along on the ship, take a fighter, and let's get out. Let's kill some pirates and make some credits. So if you want that and you're not subscribed already, click subscribe, like the video. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Until next time, I'll see you guys in space.